Hello everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Kirti Sophia Panichan, and in today's session we'll be continuing Introduction to Academic Writing. This is the third part. Academic writers are normally referred to as scholars or academicians, and their writing is described as scholarly writing. Academic writing is writing produced by scholars for other scholars. In other words, students who produce academic papers are presenting themselves as scholars. A scholar's work bears testimony to systematic study and use of authentic materials and evidences. Academic writing works are either submitted to an educational institution or an instructor, or even published in academic journals as scholarly papers or as books by the academic publisher. The process of writing followed in both these is the same, and writing essay assignments properly following the process will enable students to write scholarly papers at a later stage in their education. So, undergraduate students like you all at times are asked to write book reviews, project reports, or even essays. And if you do that in an honest way, it would help you in a later stage of your career. Especially when you're doing your post graduation, you would be able to write dissertation, thesis, journal articles, or even seminar papers in an academic way. Moving on, once we have finished writing an academic paper, we all usually send it for publication. When an academic paper is submitted for publication, the publishers take that paper for a blind peer reviewing process. A paper submitted by a scholar for publication to a journal is sent to other scholars or reviewers, as you say, by the editor of the journal without the names and other details of the writer. So that is why it is known as blind peer reviewing, because the person who gets the article to verify would not know who wrote that article. The reviewers read the paper and determine if the paper is worth publishing. The identity of the reviewers is never disclosed to the author of the paper. Hence, we could say that blind peer reviewing is an extremely important process during the publication procedure. Here, the reviewer will never get to know who wrote the article, and the author will never get to know who reviewed the paper. So this is what we call as blind peer reviewing. Plagiarism. Most academic institutions and publishers today check the academic papers submitted to them for plagiarism or the use of others' works and ideas as one's own. Any use of others' work, sentences, or ideas without acknowledging the source is considered as plagiarism. The easiest way to avoid plagiarism is to distinguish your ideas from the ideas of others in your paper. That is, every idea borrowed from others need to be acknowledged in the text of your paper by separating them using quotation marks and providing the details of the sources. Nowadays, we could say that a lot of people tend to commit plagiarism knowingly or unknowingly. It is quite natural that we get a lot of information about a thing that we are researching on, and all those ideas will be in our head, and when we start writing, sometimes these ideas come to our writing. So when we write, we should make sure that whatever we write, if we are taking it from somebody else, we should give them due credits. So to understand plagiarism and to avoid plagiarism is something extremely important for every academician or every scholar. And plagiarism could be considered as a literary theft. It is an act of stealing someone's work and claiming it as you have done it. If you happen to do such a thing, I must remind you that it is illegal and it is liable for extremely serious punishments. So, you all should avoid doing plagiarism in your academic writing. Writer of an academic paper is expected to adhere to certain basic ethics, and they have to conduct themselves in a responsible manner. Some universities, especially in United States, make it mandatory for all students to sign an agreement called honor code at the time of enrolling for academic programs. Honor code is like a pledge taken by students to the effect that they will uphold academic integrity and ethical behavior and will not engage in any kind of cheating, stealing, and misrepresentation. This is a pledge that we all could take. The values that are stated in this pledge could be used in our life forever, and a true scholar would adhere to all the values that this honor code offers. Academic writers, they are not like a common person. They carry out their writing tasks sensibly, intelligently, and with a critical mind. They do not take for truth all the information that they stumble upon. Rather, they suspect the authenticity of information and are very keen on verifying the sources, whether the sources that the information has been given is a valid one or not. Thus, news, videos, audio clips, photographs, and other materials sourced from places where anyone and everyone can post or edit them without any permission from an aggregator need to be suspected for their authenticity, as they may be fake, doctored, and presented with an ulterior motive. So, an academic writer should be keen and sharp, and he or she should be able to identify what is true and what is fake. So I hope this session was extremely fruitful for you all. By this, we come to the end of this chapter. Thank you so much for sparing the time with me. Have a nice day.